Imagine it's noon on January 20th, 2025. The world is watching Washington, D.C. The grandstands are built, the bulletproof glass is up, the National Mall is packed with people, but the podium where the President of the United States is supposed to take the oath of office is empty. There is no Chief Justice waiting with a Bible. There is no 47th President raising their right hand. Instead, there is silence, broken only by the sirens of military convoys securing the perimeter of the Capitol. For the first time in American history, Inauguration Day has arrived, but America does not have a president. We often think of elections as a binary choice. Team Red wins or Team Blue wins, but there is a third door, a door that the Founding Fathers built into the Constitution, but one we have kept locked for nearly 2 centuries. What if the 2024 election didn't end with a victory speech? What if it ended in a mathematical deadlock that broke the American government? Welcome to the constitutional crisis of 2025. To understand how we reach this nightmare scenario, we have to look at the fragile reality of the American electoral system. In a normal timeline, the winner is the candidate who reaches 270 electoral votes. We're used to tight races. 2000 was decided by 537 votes in Florida. 2016 and 2020 came down to narrow margins in key swing states. But the system assumes that someone will reach 270. We assume that the math will always work out. But what if history took a different turn? Imagine a timeline where the political map shifts just enough to create the perfect storm. The margins are razor thin. The legal battles are endless. And when the dust settles on election night, neither candidate has the magic number. The United States enters a period of the Interregnum, the time between kings. And in this timeline, the king isn't coming. How does this happen? It's statistically rare, but entirely possible. In this scenario, imagine the 2024 election results come in. The swing states split perfectly down the middle. Pennsylvania goes one way, Georgia the other. Maybe a faithless elector in a key state decides to cast a protest vote for a third candidate. Or perhaps a third-party disruptor manages to win a single congressional district in Maine or Nebraska, stealing one crucial electoral vote. The final tally flashes on the screens, 269 to 269, a tie. Or worse, a contested result where neither side concedes and slate certifications are blocked in the courts. But for this scenario, let's stick to the tie, 269 to 269. Under the 12th Amendment of the Constitution, the Electoral College is dissolved. The power to choose the president is stripped from the voters and handed to the newly elected House of Representatives. This is called a contingent election, and this is where the chaos truly begins. You might think, okay, the House votes. The Republicans have a majority or the Democrats do, so it's a quick fix. Wrong. In a contingent election, Congress doesn't vote as 435 individuals. They vote as state delegations. Each state gets exactly 1 vote. California, with 39 million people, gets 1 vote. Wyoming, with 500,000 people, gets 1 vote. To become president, a candidate needs the support of 26 state delegations. In our alternate timeline, the House is paralyzed. The delegations are split evenly. Let's say 25 states are controlled by Republicans, 25 by Democrats. Day after day, they vote. Day after day, the result is a deadlock, 25 to 25. The hallways of Congress turn into a marketplace of political bribery and threats as leaders try to peel off a single representative from a single state to flip their delegation's vote. But in our hyperpartisan world, nobody budges. The deadlock holds. While the House fights over the president, the Senate is tasked with choosing the vice president. And here is the twist. What if the Senate flips to the opposite party of the House majority? Or what if the Senate chooses a vice president quickly, while the House remains deadlocked on the president? According to the 20th Amendment, if no president is chosen by January 20th, the vice president-elect chosen by the Senate becomes the acting president. Imagine the confusion. A president from one party is blocked by the House, so the vice president from the opposing party takes power temporarily. Half the country views them as illegitimate. The acting president has the nuclear codes, but no mandate from the people. The legitimacy of the executive branch collapses. The crisis has officially begun. While the politicians argue in the Capitol, The real damage hits Main Street. Markets hate uncertainty, and there is no greater uncertainty than not knowing who runs the largest economy in the world. By December, when it becomes clear the deadlock isn't breaking, the stock market crashes. The S&P 500 loses 30% of its value in weeks. Investors pull their money out of the US dollar, seeking safety in gold or foreign currencies. The full faith and credit of the United States is downgraded. Corporate hiring freezes instantly. Supply chains, already fragile, begin to buckle as businesses refuse to sign contracts until they know what the trade policies will be. The price of gas and groceries spikes, not because of supply and demand, but because of pure panic. Now, look at the streets. The emotional polarization of the last decade boils over. In this timeline, there are no peaceful transitions. Protests erupt in every major city. But these aren't just marches, they are encampments. Supporters of both sides surround the state capitals, demanding their delegations vote a certain way. Governors begin to take matters into their own hands. A governor in a deep blue state might declare that they will not recognize the authority of an acting president chosen by the Senate. A governor in a deep red state might mobilize the National Guard to secure the integrity of their borders. We start to see the soft fracturing of the Union, not a civil war with armies in the field, but a cold civil war. States stop cooperating with federal agencies. FBI agents are blocked by local sheriffs. The federal tax system faces a massive boycott movement as citizens declare they won't fund a government they see as illegitimate. The United States begins to look less like one nation and more like 50 separate countries held together by a thread. While America is tearing itself apart, the rest of the world is watching and moving. Our adversaries know that for the next 3 to 6 months, the U.S. military is paralyzed by a chain of command crisis. Who gives the order to move the fleet? The deadlocked house, the acting president. In this vacuum, China might make its move on Taiwan, betting that the U.S. is too distracted to respond. Russia could expand its operations in Europe. Iran could accelerate its nuclear program. The global order, which relies on American stability, would fracture. Allies like the UK, Japan, and NATO members would scramble to form new alliances, realizing they can no longer rely on Washington. The Pax Americana, the era of American-led peace, ends not with a bang, but with a procedural deadlock in a committee room. But let's bring this back to you, the individual. What does it feel like to live through this? It's a feeling of profound anxiety. You wake up every morning checking your phone, hoping for a headline that says, "President elected." But every day it's just more arguments, more lawsuits, more deadlock. Conversations with neighbors stop. Family dinners become forbidden zones where politics can never be discussed. The trust in institutions, the courts, the media, the ballot box, evaporates completely. You start to wonder if your vote ever mattered. If the system can be broken by a simple tie, is it a system worth saving? The psychological toll of the year without a president changes the American character. We become more cynical, more tribal, and more willing to accept radical changes just to restore order. This scenario reveals a terrifying truth. Our system is older and more fragile than we like to admit. It relies on norms and traditions that are easily broken. So I have a question for you. If this happened, if the House was deadlocked and the Senate chose an acting president from the party you didn't vote for, would you accept their authority? Would you pay your taxes and follow their laws? Or would you support your state resisting federal control? Share your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know how you think this constitutional crisis would end. History teaches us that republics don't always fall to invaders. Sometimes they fall to the fine print of their own laws. A tie vote in 2024 wouldn't just be an election result. It would be a stress test that might finally break the machine. If you found this deep dive into the Electoral College nightmare fascinating, make sure to subscribe. We explore a new what-if scenario every week, peeling back the layers of history and the future. Next time, we are going even further. What if America became a monarchy under George Washington? You don't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next timeline.